Today, we are setting off on a bit of an epic quest. We're going to dive into the story of how one institution is basically tearing up the old playbook on education, all in the name of creating 1,000 AI startups. Now, this isn't just about a new curriculum. Think of it more like a hero's journey, designed for a new kind of innovator. Let's get into it. The whole thing starts with these four simple words. This makes no sense. That's what the founders of SNS Institutions said when they looked around at the way education and business were set up. And it's a feeling I think a lot of us can relate to, right? Being stuck in these old systems that just don't seem to work anymore. That frustration, that became the spark for a complete revolution. And that really leads us to the big question here. Are our traditional ways of learning and working actually setting us up for the future? I mean, really, SNS took a hard look at all the chaos and decided pretty definitively that the answer was no. They saw that we needed a new map, a totally new path forward. So, like in any great story, it all begins with a call to adventure. For the students at SNS, this is that moment. It's when they decide to step off the boring, worn-out path of just memorizing facts and answer a new call, the call to become a real problem solver. And this right here, this is their guide, the SNS Roadmap. Now, don't worry about trying to read every single word on this master plan. Just think of it as the enchanted map for our hero's quest. It lays out every single stage of the journey, from understanding the problems that regular people and businesses face, all the way to the final mission. This is the blueprint for turning frustration into pure innovation. On any great quest, the hero needs a mentor, a wise guide to show them the ropes. In this SNS Odyssey, that mentor isn't a person. It's a powerful way of thinking called design thinking. So what in the world is design thinking? Well, it pulls from the wisdom of places like Stanford's D School and the legendary design firm IDEO. At its core, it's a framework that puts people first. It's not just about building cool stuff. It's about deeply, truly understanding what people need and then creating solutions that actually matter. And get this, SNS was the very first institution in India to weave this into the DNA of their entire educational model. The whole process breaks down into 5 simple, super practical steps. First, you empathize. You have to feel the user's pain. Then you define the actual problem you're trying to solve. After that, you ideate, come up with all kinds of crazy solutions. Then you build a quick prototype, and finally, you test it out in the real world. This isn't just some theory they talk about. It's what they do, day in and day out at SNS. So you might be wondering, does this mentor's advice actually work? Well, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. A 95% placement rate, with salaries getting way up there. It just goes to show that this human-centered approach creates exactly what the world is hungry for, innovators who get things done. But hey, no hero quests alone, right? They always need allies, a fellowship to back them up. At SNS, that fellowship comes in the form of 2 powerful frameworks that create this incredible community of innovators. Okay, so this fellowship is built on these 2 big ideas that work together, the 3P culture and the 3C competencies. The 3Ps, that's the world around the hero, a shared purpose, a clear process, and the right people, students, faculty, and industry pros. Then you have the 3Cs, which build the hero's inner strength, the right attitude, sharp business logic, and serious technical skill. And where those 2 things meet, yeah, that's where the magic really happens. All right, so our hero has a mentor and a fellowship. Now it's time to face the trials. At SNS, these trials are called the 5 pillars of growth, and they're basically a series of challenges designed to forge a well-rounded legend. First up, Pillar 1, learn. And no, we are not talking about dusty old textbooks here. This is all about practical, hands-on mastery and getting those industry-recognized certifications in things like AWS or Databricks. It makes sure students are ready for the real world from day 1. Next is to upskill. Through more than 18 different clubs and sports, everything from cricket to dance, students build up their resilience and sharpen their minds and bodies. It's about developing the whole person, not just the academic side. The third pillar, innovate. This is where ideas actually become real. Students get to work in specialized labs, think robotics and AI centers, where they're basically casting automation spells and fabricating real competition vehicles. It's hands-on creation at its absolute best. And pillar number 4 is network. This is where students build their alliances. They're things like hackathons and deep partnerships with over 45 different companies. They're not just learning in a classroom bubble. They're building real connections that are going to last for their entire careers. And the final pillar, responsible, teaches a crucial lesson that true innovation has to serve a bigger purpose. Here, students go on what they call social quests, using their skills to create eco-friendly innovations and make a genuine impact on the community around them. So, after all of these trials and all of this training, where does this whole odyssey lead? Well, it leads to one grand, ultimate mission, the final goal of the entire quest. What is that final prize our heroes are fighting for? It's not just a degree, and it's not just a good job. It is something so much bigger than that. 1,000. That is the goal, to launch 1,000 AI-powered startups in just 10 years. This is the whole point, to not just create employees, but to create an entire army of entrepreneurs who are going to go out there and build the future. And how do they get them ready for that final boss battle? With something called the Spine Framework. You can think of this as the hero's inner armor. It forges every part of them. Deep skill, a resilient personality, a hunger for innovation, all of it supported by a nurturing environment designed to light a fire under their entrepreneurship. This quote really just sums up the whole journey perfectly, doesn't it? It's a total transformation. Students start off in the chaos of a world they're not sure about, and they emerge as the founders of an AI-powered empire. The SNS Odyssey really shows that with the right map and the right mindset, even the wildest dreams can become your destiny. And so, as we wrap this up, we're left with a question. For you, every great quest begins by facing down some kind of chaos. So what's the chaos in your world that's just waiting for a hero? What's your chaos to conquer?